training of people on how to handle this such circumstances too, I think has been done. But there's still this paranoia, and you can't also sometimes fault people too much. People have this feeling that when you even feel dizzy, when you're feeling feverish, before they could even pronounce anything, the general public or people around you will insinuate that it's COVID.
When you cough.
Now you can no longer cough. Our lives have changed. You cannot even complain that you have sore throat, something which used to be normal. I think that once again it's education. On the issue of the schools and the reopening of these schools, once the protocols are going to be enforced, and that is where I think our attention should also be geared towards, we need to enforce these protocols. People are naturally not used to wearing face masks. We are not used to washing our hands regularly under running water with soap. We are simply not used to this new normal. Traditionally, it's difficult to change, but when progress demands that change, there must be that change. And it's worrying. My deepest condolences to the family. And I had the opportunity of speaking to the managers of the education ministry this morning, and it's something that they are seriously getting to the bottom of it. And I pray that we all get to know what happened. Those who deserve to be punished must be punished severely. And I'm just sad what happened.
No doubt, like you said, the investigation will show us who did what. I think the one thing that has become clear so far, even before everything is investigated, just from the reports, one thing that has become clear is that simply mapping a school to a hospital is only step one.
Exactly.
That more ought to be done. There ought to be a protocol of what to do when a child is ill. Because COVID-19 is not the only disease in the world.
True.
So what to do, how to manage it, and it seems as if maybe that is still something that authorities need to do.
Is that this child had previous history of ulcer
and had informed
and they had informed the authorities. Sammy and I, and likewise your good self, we all attended senior high schools, and sometimes even when you feel unwell, the first point of call will be your housemaster. They will inform the housemaster before they even get you to the hospital. And it's something that going forward we need to reform it. And many of these senior high schools, they also do have infirmary. They have clinics. Where I schooled, you and I schooled, Kojo, we had that at the St. Luke's house.
That's right, beneath St. Luke's
house. And clearly, we need to have a strategy for this. I agree with you that it's good we've mapped these schools to the hospitals or nearby clinics. But how do we also resource them to take care of patients, not just COVID-related, but also people with history of some of these underlying diseases?
Now,
Kame wanted to come in.
I think. Let's do that.
I thought I raised the more fundamental issue of should the schools remain open.
That's actually where I was going next with the conversation.
I take the view that we should reconsider that policy position and close the schools and reassess the situation. Because let's face it, our numbers are going up. Look at the number of cases reported today, in excess of 800 one day. You have a country like Kenya that has only 8,000 cases. The Kenyan authorities have announced, just to keep parents at bay, that schools will remain closed till 2021. Kenya doesn't have up to 10,000 cases. But President Uhuru Kenyatta says that because the numbers are going up, they haven't peaked. We all don't understand this virus. We are still learning about the virus. They won't take chances. So this academic year, forget it. Consider that this academic year has been lost. So 2021, that's the August, September, when the 2021-2022 academic year begins, they will figure out how to make up for the lost time. That is putting life first. Nigeria. Only yesterday, the Nigerian education minister Adamu, announced that Nigerian schools will remain closed.
Yeah.
The previous week, he had announced that they wanted to adapt the Ghanaian example and schools will be reopened. But when they look at the increasing cases, and Nigeria is at 30,000 cases now.
Yeah.
But if you do even the population, proportionality, you would agree with me that the Ghanaian situation is worse than what Nigeria is grappling with. I mean, I don't buy this argument necessarily that if you are doing more testing, you can be doing more testing and not finding the virus.
If it's not spreading, you will not find more.
If you have contained it. So it is not the case that when you are doing more testing, automatically your case count will go up. We need to be more scientific and logical about these matters. So my view really is that we should learn from other countries. Other countries are being more cautious. And the irony is that if you come to Ghana now, many state institutions are closing. Finance Ministry is closed. BOS is closed. MPA. And yet the schools, we want to keep them reopened. It's created enormous anxiety, and parents keep calling. As a member of parliament, I mean, you have no idea the headache. There's considerable fear, especially amongst mothers. They can't sleep. Look at what happened at Accra Girls a few days ago. Parents actually had to be literally prevented by the police that they should keep their students in school. They will not allow them to take their students home. So it tells you that there's, I mean, the parents who are key stakeholders in this whole enterprise are not convinced. And it's also because, as we were saying earlier, all the protocols have not been published. We don't know exactly how the guidelines should operate. You say PPEs have been, I've listened to a number of union leaders who say that they have not received the full complement of PPEs. At least in the secondary schools in my constituency, some other items remain outstanding. On my last visit just a few days ago to 3 of the 5 senior high schools I have in my constituency. So we should take this matter more seriously. Let's have a reassessment. Other countries did that. When France reopened their schools and cases started going up in the schools, they did a reassessment and closed the schools. South Korea did same. Did a reassessment and closed the schools. The United Kingdom, Leicester, they did same. Did a reassessment. Because it's just going to be a matter of time. Parents will be so scared, they'll recall their children to come home, and you will say you are operating the academic calendar, but really you would not have students to teach. So I submit strongly that it is time for government to reconsider its stance.
Yes, so I think I would disagree with Sami a bit on these matters. First of all, our approach should be backed by data and backed by science as well. The health authorities constantly engage the Ministry of Education and government on the best way out. Again, if you also listen to our health authorities, the students reported not too long ago, many of them, if they have contracted or they did contract while at home, they will start showing signs within the first 21 days. So we are still within that incubation period of that 21.
That's if they are asymptomatic.
That is
if they are symptomatic.
That is if they are symptomatic, and that is if they are even contracted it at all. So I am convinced that government effort there has been good. Within the 21 days, if indeed the situation becomes alarming, and the health officials also do engage the Ministry of Education and the genius, and the best strategy out will be to close down. I'm sure government wouldn't hesitate at all to buy into that argument. But the challenge we have is the measures that Ghana did put in place.
I just need a bit of clarity here, because we want to make sure we put out the right information. You're saying that within 21 days,
yes,
if the students...
My discussion this morning with the education authorities, they did indicate that many of these kids, just came from their various homes
right.
and the environment and
right.
the communities. It may be that one or two or a number might have come into contact with people who had contracted that virus. It would take some days for them to show these signs. And when they do show these signs, that's the best period for you to either take them out, isolate, or reassess the situation. But if the whole argument is, let's follow what Kenya is doing, let's follow what Nigeria is. So if Kenya reopens their schools, are we then going to say that, oh, Kenya has resumed, so we should also reopen our schools? Ghana's approach, I think that even though it should be side by side with that of the WHO and other best practices, our situation for me and how we have approached and handled this situation is far better than that of Nigeria.
I think it's
how many people have been tested in Nigeria?
That's
how many
a good
people
question.
have been tested in Kenya?
That's actually the point I wanted to make, if you don't mind. Forgive my interruption. None of the kids who went back to school were tested, as far as we're aware. None of them were tested. So we have no knowledge of whether they came in infected or not. So I don't think we can, if we're following the science, if we say that these decisions are based on science, then I don't think it is science to say that these kids came in clean, uninfected. Therefore, we are watching them for 21 days.
To test all the 30 million Ghanaians. That is not the approach. The approach is as much as possible to test as many as we can.
Yes, but the science is that because of that, you don't know whether they have it or not.
Because you may have a feeling of unwell. You may have a headache. That doesn't mean it's COVID.
Yeah. Or you may have nothing, and you might have COVID-19.
Exactly. I know no less than 6 people, 7 people that I know, work closely with, who contracted it but didn't show any signs at all.
Exactly.
So if the approach is to test every Ghanaian, then that is a different matter. But if the approach is as much as possible, people we suspect or believe they might have come into contact with persons exposed to the virus, then that should be where we sit with the argument. Again,
which means
argument.
I'm so sorry. This is the final clarification. This is the reason why I was actually cutting in. Which means that we cannot say we reopen the schools with the premise that everybody is coming in without COVID-19.
Exactly.
The plan should have considered the possibility that we are reopening the schools and bringing a number of people with COVID-19 to come and mingle with those who don't have it. Is that the plan that we use?
I'm not too sure I got your second part well, but if your position or if your question or clarification is that, well, it's a cocktail. There are people who might have been exposed and people who might not have been exposed at all. And
we're bringing them together.
But you cannot also tell that the fact that we are all coming from different places, all of us should be tested. When persons show these signs, that's why they are signs. When they show these signs, or if they don't show at all, and this virus operates in such a way that if your immune system is not able to contain it, it obviously weakens you. You have no choice than to break down. But where your immune system fights it, you might get it, contract it, and recover without you not knowing.
But you will infect others who may not be able to fight it.
That is what I'm saying. Danger. That's the danger. And that is why the whole world, we are still unable to get our hand on the handle as to how this virus is operating. But then it's also clear that this virus is going to stay with us for some time because we don't have a vaccine. Is the strategy that we are going to shut the entire country down till a time comes where we have the vaccine? No.
Well, we're talking about education only.
But the education,
not the whole country.
About the final year students who are currently in schools, not the entire levels of education. So if after careful assessment, as Sam is talking about, if the health authorities advise that, look, maybe within the 21 days or 14 days, we realize that the numbers have shot up. Maybe it's about time that even these students being in school already, we can then advise government that, look, let's embark on mass testing of all these pupils or students in the various senior high schools and that of the tertiary. But then his argument that he doesn't buy into the fact that the more you test, the figures will go up. The honest truth is that if you stop testing, the figures won't go up.
That doesn't mean that the more you test, the more they will go up.
Well, but if you test and the entire week you have just one person testing positive, it will add on to the figures. But if you look at just the number of people who have contracted to make the argument, you make a mistake.
But if the thing is not
the
spreading,
cumulative figures, but look at the recoveries as well. Then you go down to the active cases. The active cases, we also do have people who are seriously ill. So it's not just a case of looking at the cumulative figures, maybe 22,000 have contracted. How many have recovered?
But the more contracted, the more will be ill, the more will die. That's statistics, right?
That is statistics. Yeah. But also, it's also factually incorrect that the number of people who contracted will automatically mean that 99% of them will pass on.
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that if, let's say, your mortality rate is 1%, 1% of 100 is less than 1% of 1,000.
No doubt.
So the more people contract it, the more people will die.
Let's say the entire week, let's say Ghana's figures now is 22,000. And the entire week from today to, let's say, Sunday, we have one more person testing positive. It will add on to the 22,000.
Yeah.
If we decide not to test, that figure will remain 22,000 and might not go up. So we need to make a choice, and the government has decided that we will still
that if
keep
you
on
keep
testing,
the numbers should go up, because the only reason why they're going up is because there are more people infected.
Yes.
If there were less people infected, you could do 1 million tests and you wouldn't find any who are sick, because the thing is not spreading. So the fact that you're finding more people is not because you are testing more; it's because more people are sick.
No, but the fact that, and that's what I'm saying, that if you also don't test, the figures will remain the same.
Are you suggesting that we should
No, I'm not. The government's approach to it is, Sammy is saying he doesn't buy into that argument.
All right.
And I'm saying government's position is that we will keep testing, and wherever the virus is, whichever community that can be found in, we will keep testing. So we will know our statistics, and then we'll be advised by the science and data.
Okay. Mr. Blackwell, let me ask you this. You're calling for the shutdown of the schools. Why are you not calling for the implementation of the protocols? Surely, if we could implement the protocols and the kids could stay in school, that would be a win-win. That would be better than shutting down, would it not?
I must be frank with you, Kojo, that right from the outset, when the president announced that he was going to reopen the schools, I did put out an op-ed where I argued that that was not a great idea, and that having worked at the Ministry of Education, there are many other options available to us if our concern is transition. Because listening to the president carefully is about the transition of final years from one point to the other. And I did point out in that op-ed, which my Joy Online and other portals publish, which can be googled by listeners, that one of the options available is continuous assessment. Right. We can use the continuous assessment of students, task teachers and heads of institutions to put that together. I also argued that at entry points, so that if you want to be admitted to the University of Ghana when we have found a handle really about this virus, and say we are in the 2021-2022 academic year, those entry points, if it's the universities, the colleges of education, the technical universities, polytechnics, whichever tertiary institution, can conduct an entrance exam that can be added to your continuous assessment, and they make a determination. Another option, those who want to join the services, for example, Ghana Police Service, Ghana Armed Forces, Navy, Immigration, name them, they can also do same. So if your concern is about what happens to final years, there are options. We were not presented with a fait accompli. We just refused to think outside the box. And I did argue that that option was available. The second argument I made is that, look, we must take the genuine concerns of the union leaders seriously. I did not buy into that refusal to test all teachers, non-teaching staff, and students.
But is that realistic? Again, forgive my interference. Is it realistic? There are how many teachers? 300,000 in Ghana.
Not all of them are final year teachers. So you do your disaggregation of the data.
So let's
look at the teachers required to teach various final year subjects in the schools, then the students, then the non-teaching staff. It will just be a fraction of the 300 and something thousand teachers.
Sadly, that is not the case. If we take just the reopening of basic education, BEC final year, this is when the president said this, and I quote, "In all, we are expecting some 750,000 persons, comprising 532,000 JHS3 students and 218,000 teaching and non-teaching staff and invigilators to be involved in tomorrow's exercise." That's the reopening. That's 750,000 persons. Okay, Ghana hasn't yet tested 350,000 persons, so it would have been impossible to test all these people before reopening, wouldn't it?
Because of capacity, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't seem to have the capacity as a country, and it is the duty of government to build capacity. It's the duty of government to secure these test kits. I mean, I do know that within diplomatic circles there were nations willing to offer. Indeed, some offered as assistance. The Americans, the British, the Chinese, probably even top the list of countries who have donated test kits to us, and we could have reached out. All the funds that
did we not accept these offers? Did Ghana not accept the offers?
It appears that it was not adequate if you listen to government officials, and that's why they didn't carry out this preliminary testing that I say is required. So you see, when you don't have the capacity, it's more the reason you should be creative. You should think outside the box like other countries are doing. I am saying that, look, the president's initial position about fighting this virus, that look, we do not know how to bring lives back, but we can bring the economy back. Over the period, it appears that we now have a different philosophy that has emerged, and that is worrying. And I'm not the only one saying it. Listen to the experts. Listen to the Ghana Medical Association. Listen to Professor Binka. I mean, you call him Ghana's Anthony Fauci, and he is predicting that we will soon hit 50,000. That's what Professor Binka is saying. That is frightening. It's frightening. So you cannot be doing the same thing. And as it is now, Kojo, it's clear that we have lost control. Community spread is taking place like wildfire, and look at the number of frontline medical staff who have been affected. If this trend continues, what it tells you is that you are not going to even have care. Those who provide care will not be available. So we should not joke with this matter. And all around, you get the impression that we are placing other considerations above human life, which is worrying. I mean, you take this registration that is going on now.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Is it really necessary?
To the assertion that we've lost control over the management.
Totally lost control. I mean, listen to the Ghana Medical Association.
Clearly, Sam, if you also listen to our health authorities, the Ghana Medical Association is a subset of the Ministry of Health and the bigger health force. But if from their understanding, if I listen to the DG for the Ghana Health Service and those officials, those public health practitioners, and they're saying that if we keep enforcing our protocols and people also becoming disciplined, that wearing of the mask is no longer a luxury. It's something that must be part of your daily living, and ensuring that you are disciplining yourself. We either have to choose between risk avoidance or risk reduction. Risk avoidance means that...
Why must we choose?
We have to. Because
can't we do both?
Well, you can't. Because with the risk avoidance, you want to stay in your bed. In the comfort of your bed. You don't want to even move to your hall. The moment you left your home this morning to Joy FM studios, Kojo, you are taking a risk. You are likely to come into contact with people who have contracted the deadly virus or not. But if you wear your mask, you reduce the risk. If you observe all the protocols and stand 6 feet or meters apart from the person next to you, you are reducing the risk of contracting it. You can do all these and still, with the minutest of negligence, contract it.
So you can do risk avoidance and reduction at the same time. So
I don't think so.
If I leave my house,
you can do more of risk reduction now.
If I may demonstrate, if I leave my house, and I have 10 places to go to.
Exactly.
I can do risk avoidance by reducing the number of places I have to go to from 10 to 5. So I avoid 5 places.
Your home, you are obviously in a risk zone.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, this is how you can avoid risk by reducing the number of places you have to go to in that day. So you take 5 off your list. That means you've avoided 5 risks. And then you can you've avoided 5, and then you can reduce the risk of the other 5 by doing all the protocols, wearing your mask and washing your hands. So you can do avoidance and reduction. Well, we have fewer things to do.
Well, you can. I mean, that is advisedly. But I'm saying the moment you left your bed, that means you are prone to the risk.
But you know, Sammy. You can stay at home
and
still contract.
That's also possible.
When you have guests, for example, who come in, or you.
So, Sammy, if you totally shut your door and decide not to move,
and look, we are discovering new things about this virus every day. The WHO itself has to.
They'll be more confused. They'll be more confused.
Now it's confirmed that this virus is airborne.
I mean, I just read that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's not
is that factoring into our plans, by the way?
So that is why when we ask for the plan,
about this coronavirus.
When the COVID-19 technical team briefed us in Parliament, I asked them a simple question. Are we conducting our own country-specific research? Because we are hearing, when you read, and we've all become paranoid, we are reading all manner of things, we are not medical practitioners, we are not public health experts, but we are all trying to see how we can protect ourselves. You notice that other countries are doing country-specific research. They are discovering how the virus is mutating, how even people present. You know, apparently in Ghana, when you talk to a lot of the doctors, this business of flu is not really a major symptom. I'm told less than 20% of those who are presenting with COVID-19 symptoms are exhibiting flu. That the loss of smell, for example, is higher amongst patients presenting. All of these things we need to know. Let's see contextual research, Ghana case specific. Let it be published. That will even influence, you know, policy makers, lawmakers, those of us who even approve budgets. When they present budgets to us, for example, we will know, should we be approving $12.7 million for quarantine, or we should rather reduce that for quarantine and spend more on, say, test kits, for example, or even some accelerated expansion of health facilities. As we speak, even the number of ventilators we have is not clear. You know, they are contradictory figures and all of those things. So, look, we need to take this whole war against COVID-19 more seriously than we have done. I am glad that yesterday the information minister, I read, I don't know if the online report is accurate, that he told OKFM that after the registration exercise, some form of lockdown is possible. Government is not ruling that out.
You were glad to hear that?
You know, yes. But I would have been more glad if we had considered that even before the registration and taking that into account when we were contemplating doing a registration. Should we really be putting our citizens through all of this, all of what we are doing? So honestly, Kojo, I am not impressed about the response. I think that we started well. We were receiving a lot of accolades, but
even that was being contradicted by the NDC.
But you know, the starting well is because largely You know, in the African context, a lot of African countries were not doing what they should do. They were not testing and all of that. I think it was South Africa and Djibouti alone that gave us some stiff competition in terms of the response by WHO guidelines. So that's why, you know, in the land of the one,
you're taking away we started well. You're taking it away.
He's managing. But now I don't know if you've seen
managing the congratulatory way. But
the Africa Center for Disease Control report, their latest report about 5 nations who are not doing well, and Ghana is in there. So let's accept that where we are now, we need a different response. We cannot, we cannot be doing the same thing and expect different results.
I mean, I will keep saying that you and I, unfortunately, are not health experts. We try to educate ourselves based on what we read and what we observe on the networks as well. And I'm confident that with the advice from the Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health, we should be able to take measures at any point in time that will also help protect lives. On the issue of sometimes I get confused about the NDC's position on this registration exercise.
Let's talk about that.
They started by saying it was illegal, it was unconstitutional, based on their understanding of the law and the provisions in the Constitution that there should be just one register. Any other thing should be a review of it or an upgraded version. And then at the court, they decided to drop that position. Then we moved on to the fact that the time between now and December was too short. That argument was also completely watered down as well. If you take Ivory Coast, our next door neighbors, they're currently compiling a register for their elections in October. If you're also talking about the risk factor, as for the various arguments about why the EC needed a new voters register, I think they've been clear on that matter and they've given reasons for that. The software issues and luckily, in fact, and Samir will bear with me, I have monitored various registration processes across the country in the past. This time round, you have very few incidents of machines breakdown. Very few. In fact, almost less than 2%. So in terms of the strength and the durability of their machines and the ability to last longer for the process, I think it's unquestionable. Now, if there's no argument, or if the argument that if the registration process is going to lead to increasing number of COVID-19 related cases, then obviously we don't have to go to the market. Then there are several places that we don't have to even go. My argument is that my position on this matter is education is key. We need to fear this COVID. First of all, I mean, this is something which is not negotiable. You can contract it. And the fact that you contract it doesn't mean you're going to pass on. If you are not lucky, you will. But then as much as possible, reduce the risk factors. If your argument that this registration exercise is going to lead to an increase, then what would be the argument to conduct elections in December? We are still going to form queues.
You know my example of leaving your house and avoiding 5 places, you know, when you have 10 on your list. Isn't that the same argument for this registration and election?
The election, the NDC's argument again that in the midst of the pandemic we cannot be having such a huge political exercise. Egypt goes to the polls next month. We've had that of Malawi. We've had that of Burundi. We're going to have that of Ivory Coast. We've had that of South Korea and several other countries. Because look, take it or leave it, this virus is not going to leave in the next 1 week or next 1 month. We're still trying to understand how it operates and learn more about it. But in doing that, as a country and as a people and as a world, all over the world, economies and countries are opening up again because you have to choose between hunger and protecting yourself. If you ask the person to stay home, not move anywhere, the person too is feeling the hunger that if I don't go to work, I won't be paid. So we just have to take extra caution, take extra care, and know that your destiny too is in your own hands.
So you mentioned
to protect yourself by wearing a face mask. Government can only push EI and CIs to make sure that we compel people to conform. But then once
they can also enforce the law.
Yes, and
South Korea. You mentioned South Korea.
Enforce it. I think enforcing it is no problem for the agencies.
Are you sure? Let me ask you this. We sent our journalists around to see whether there were police presence at these these places where the social distancing protocols were not being enforced, where people were not wearing masks, something which is now a crime. First of all, there was no police presence in most of these places, and where there was police presence, they were looking on while people broke the law. Okay, now South Korea, you mentioned South Korea. Look at the social distancing in South Korea's voting exercise. Look at that. Can we compare ourselves?
So that is why I'm saying education.
Not enforcement?
No, enforcement key. But if the person must also understand
like
that we are enforcing these laws to protect you. It's not that we are enforcing these laws because we don't like you. It's nothing personal. We are enforcing it so we protect the person.
Why are you seeking their understanding before you enforce? You didn't do that with the pastors that were arrested during the lockdown. They broke the law. They were arrested. Nobody took the time to give them pamphlets to educate them on why they shouldn't break the law. Why are we seeking to do that with those who are doing this registration? Is it because of votes?
I think that it's also clear and it's also important that I know that we've had some incidents where people have also been arrested for not obeying the protocols. The reason why, apart from the enforcement, I will still go for education is that we are not used to this new normal. We are simply not. You get to a place. I was up north in some communities as well, and people even believe that this whole COVID it's something hanging in the air. It doesn't exist.
So if you start arresting people, what's the downside?
Well, if you start arresting the people, you arrest the person is incarcerated or jailed, and then you still have people not understanding the essence behind it. Yes, not understanding and the essence behind the arrest. They are back to square one. So yes, we enforce the laws, and I have seen the police in many places. Of course, they cannot also be everywhere. If you want to deploy all the security forces, be it police, military, and look at the mapping 1-to-1. So for us as a people, we must also complement their effort by at least reducing the risk of contracting this deadly virus.
All right. Okay, now we're still on the registration exercise. And Mr. Ablakwa, it occurs to me that much as you protest, much as the NDC objects to it and gives all kinds of reasons why this should not go on, your flag bearer is encouraging people to go out and register. So clearly, their vote appears to be more important to you than their lives. Am I right?
I would disagree. I mean, we are law-abiding citizens of our country. When you have waged what was quite a spirited campaign, and we did garner a lot of support. Look at the number of civil society organizations, the National House of Chiefs, the clergy, and all the, very important segments of society who virtually agreed with our call and aligned with our analysis of the situation. But when in the final analysis the apex court of the land spoke, what a responsible political leader does is to ask everybody, especially to the extent that you are not seeking a review, you do not want to exercise your right of appeal, you will only call on your citizens to comply. And the president asked that the former president, I should say, I'm used to calling him president, the former president stated clearly that all of us should do well to abide by the protocols. And I think that in these matters, leadership is key. The Electoral Commission has the responsibility to conduct this registration exercise in a way that protects lives and show that we value lives as a country. So the Electoral Commission has the paramount responsibility. But we as stakeholders, if you come to North Town, for example, I am doing a lot to support. Virtually all the chairs being used, I provided them, I bought them, because I came to the conclusion that there cannot be social distancing without chairs, the single-seater chairs. If you ask people to stand and queue, they will get close. It soon becomes a milling crowd.
So instead of advising the people in your constituency to stay home and stay safe, you're buying them chairs so that they can come out and participate in a dangerous exercise?
And beyond that, I have also entered into an agreement with Zoom Lion. and we disinfect every polling station twice daily, every surface, every chair, the pillars, the trees, everything around the polling station twice daily. And virtually every day after parliamentary sittings, because my constituency is not far, it's just a 2-hour drive, I go there and make sure that this disinfection exercise is going on. So all of us have a role to play. But back to some of the issues that Sami raised. It is clear listening to Sami that the government tagline of spread calm, not fear, he clearly departs from it. And that tagline must change. We must fear COVID. And we must lead by example. When Sami Oku says education, the best form of education, Kojo, is when the leadership offers that education by example. You can't organize primaries in the way the MPP organized primaries. You cannot have so-called, inspection tours. We saw the pictures from Abu Sukai, and because people are hailing and cheering the president on, that is fine. We can break the protocols. And we saw what my colleague in Parliament, Carlos Ahinkra, did, an act of callousness. And yet, no sanctions, no prosecution. As we speak, there are pastors and others who have been jailed for 4 good years, 4 years, not 4 months. I have been leading calls for their clemency, their pardon, that they should be pardoned, and that the political elite have no basis keeping these people in jail. So the best education, Sami Awuku, is for the political class to lead by example and to stop these bad examples where it appears that there are 2 sets of citizens, where political activists have become sacred cows. The laws don't apply to them. The EIs, they are immune. They can do whatever, and the police cannot. And look, it's time we advocate.
Is it your position that the political class, including you and I, will be negligent?
All of us.
All right. And is it also your position now that instead of encouraging people to stay home, you are asking them to register?
I have told you the conditions under which my people are registering in North Town.
All right. Well, I want us to come back to this. I want us to come back to this. I'll let you wrap up on that point very quickly. If you have 30 seconds to wrap that up, and then we'll take a break.
Leadership by example. There shouldn't be different strokes for different folks. We should have the same application of the law for all citizens. It is crucial, and that is why many people in this country are beginning to take this whole COVID-19 as a joke, and even are daring law enforcement.
Same, for the MPP, we distributed Veronica Bucket, hand paper towels, liquid soap. For me as national organizer, I was key in distributing all these items to all the constituencies where we had our primaries. But once again, as I keep telling, no delegate came to our vote or to the voting center without a mask. But then if you have supporters who are activists, if you have supporters who are activists, and then it's delaying because your person has won. These were not the people that you expected them at the voting center.
I don't know what that means.
5,000 delegates who congregated.
I don't know what that means. You are the organizer. Yes. All right. Are you saying that you didn't anticipate that people other than delegates would come and participate in this exercise?
It was a delegate conference.
So you didn't anticipate it.
And then we're clear.
You think it was possible that would happen?
We didn't encourage that.
So the people who were cheering and pouring powder on winners and all that, those people were not supposed to be there.
And that's why we have encouraged the security agencies to enforce the laws. You don't look beyond your shoulders.
I mean, if a crime has been committed,
we're going to come back to this. We'll talk about this and other issues. We will even spend a bit of time talking about the schools again, and we will also raise the issue of the new running mate of the NDC flag bearer. Yes, that is for about. Yes, that and more when we return. Stay with us.
Because the greatest things are born from the smallest of thoughts. Just as your seeds in a rich soil grow to become trees that bear fruits, the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, helps you sow, invest, nurture, and grow your personal and business plans by serving you with years of banking ingenuity and experience in agribusiness, corporate and commercial banking, consumer finance, e-banking, and many more through our network branches across the country. Whatever the culture, whatever the dream, we grow with you. Call us today on 0302-210-210 or visit www.agricbank.com. ADB, truly agric and more.
Kofi, your ceiling be smooth, bright and fine, Papa.
That's an understatement. It dey blink like 80 carats white gold. This be Interface plasterboard ceilings. Smooth, bright, and long-lasting. Everybody where they come here, they fill up. Where they direct them go Interface Limited for world-class quality.
If you're involved in new property development, renovation, or decoration, the right place for you is Interface Limited. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. I'm John Mahama. The Electoral Commission of Ghana is compiling a new voter register in all parts of the country, and all Ghanaians 18 years and above are eligible to register. Whether you have previously registered or voted in an election before, you must register now to be able to vote in the December 2020 elections. The time to make a change is now. Register today to vote in December and make a difference in your life and that of your family. Your vote is your voice. To be able to vote, you must register. Register now, and let's do it for Ghana.
Improvise an auto gas cylinder. Make sure the auto gas cylinder is properly installed by a qualified technician. Always keep a fire extinguisher handy in case of a fire. Stand at a safe distance and attack the base of the flame. Avoid decanting LPG from one cylinder to the other. Domestic transfer of LPG should be avoided. Cars fitted with auto gas cylinders should be filled at the appropriate filling stations. A message from the National Petroleum Authority.
Abna, why are you crying?
Why wouldn't I cry out? This has become unbearable. Everywhere I go, I'm treated like an outcast. At home, at work, at the hospital, even at the market. Is it a crime to have TB? Is it a crime to have HIV? It's better I die. Why?
No, Abna, you can't give up and die. Indeed, a new dawn has come for persons living with HIV and those suffering from TB and sexually transmitted infections. WAPCAS, in collaboration with the Ghana AIDS Commission, is shedding light on our rights so we can enjoy equal rights as captured in the Ghana AIDS Commission Act, Act 938. Rights to quality health care, non-discrimination, equal work opportunities, and education. You may call WAPCAS on 030-224-1452 or 055-6233-663 to report any act of discrimination. WAPCAS,
here for your rights.
WAPCAS and Act 938, here for life. This advert is brought to you by WAPCAS with funding from the Global Fund.
Be happy.
Your morning radio.
This is my motherland, lady Ghana tiny. Anything I go talk, we need a tiny. Bo up with Bonia hey, Boni Dane hey. Many me feel he can see and many won't pay. Malaba he can't feel it, I just cabo. What the local ninja lava, we check robo. I promise on my own, I'm with Pioneer and Shona. Pulling off a Vina Sana, Nibu Kuna no Shona.
Jawaena, Jumanchi Africo May, Coman Kapila Capito, Zahida Kai. Banda bambanci mu daina zalunci ubangijin Allah wai ma zuciya fi gobe annan Muhammad wai ma zuciya fi gobe iyayen mu wai ma zuciya fi gobe zuciya fi gobe.
See, this is not a peace song, it's a love song. Peace ain't gonna get it married, keep the love strong. See, a peace we cannot risk. War at home is like cardiac arrest, cause home is where the heart is. Let the trumpet sound victory. The battle that we won is a battle for peace. We promise on our armor that we'll never fight again, cause Ghana is a happy place of joy.
Sure, to fight a bona, yeah, my dog with the Yuba. The bunny bunny on you, will any get up. Get up, what's up, motherland? I don't feel like I'll be the an eighth year. I'm in love with you now. Come on, Jiba, my jihad, and your tower, what's in your way? The dodgy of the from Charlie Howe. From the big six, you still the fix things. Power, Hamakafu, where she can't do a reach. If you don't give me, what if I fight, they need for the peace. If we will protect the nation, well, I don't say anyone I say even. Oh, yeah. About the PP, about our soldiers, about the PP, hey, I want me. Now, so you gave up. From a wabo, what are some children want to say? Many baby use on taking you if you are. We shall look forward to 4 hours who are when you did your cocoa. A lady be okay, Palace, a lady okay, Palace, a little bit okay, Palace. I'm not swallowing. It's all about a pee.
Hey, Bobo. It's 3 minutes past 9. You're welcome back to the Super Morning Show. Today's agenda brought to you by Societe Generale, SG Ghana, The Future Is You, and Mala 2, anti-malaria drug from Ernest Chemist, providing quality and affordable medicine. Today we're talking politics. It's Political Thursday, and the two Samis are our guests today, Sami Auku and Sami Okujeto Ablakwa. And we've been talking about COVID-19, the management of it. A lot has been said. I think it's time for us to get on to our other topic today, and it's all about the naming of the running mate for the NDC's flag bearer. John Mahama has named Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman, and immediately there were reactions, including this one.
In an ideal world, one of the strongest things going for the selection of the good professor would have been that she is a woman, and this would be met with a lot of enthusiasm. Unfortunately, Professor Opoku Agyeman hardly meets the expectations of someone who has a track record of fighting for women or their welfare. Luckily for all of us, Jane Nana Opoku Agyeman is not new to Ghana politics, and it is her performance during her period as a political appointee that we are going to continue referring to from now on in. We need not remind anybody that it was during her tenure that training teachers' allowances were scraped. It was done without paying any heed to the many appeals to reconsider the decision. Indeed, it was one of the things she was proud to have done, scraping teacher allowances solidly on her front desk. The cold-hearted manner in which teachers were treated cannot easily be forgotten, either by the teachers themselves or the nation. Let it not again be forgotten that Professor Nana Opoku Agyeman had been a teacher herself before she came to the position of Minister of Education. And yet, It was during her period that classroom teachers were denied common chalk to be able to write on blackboards. And we all remember the infamous saying, "We didn't give you chalk today or tomorrow," voiced by then Second Lady Matilda Misata, and Nana Opoku-Agyeman was in the saddle. Perhaps the worst thing that can be associated with her name was the Muntie 3 saga. When the Muntie trio threatened death upon some Supreme Court justices, including the then Chief Justice Theodora Georgina Wood, the then Education Minister, now newly appointed running mate, and I told her she's going to receive the fire. Now, newly appointed running mate to candidate Mahama was one of those who joined the campaign for the release of the Muntie 3. Indeed, her ardent anti-feminist position was too obvious to ignore when she appended her signature to the petition to have the trio, who had then been incarcerated at Nsawam, be freed against sound advice from well-meaning Ghanaians. How can a woman who hates her fellow women to this extent that she actually advocated the release of the jail trio so that they could continue to rape and kill her fellow women, how can she be given such a responsibility now to take care of everybody in the country, including her fellow women? We wonder what message candidate Mahama is sending Ghanaians by picking Professor Joy997FM Opoku-Agyeman as vice presidential candidate, when her stewardship in the past brought such heartache to teachers and trauma to her colleague.
That was Yabwabenya Samoa. He's in charge of communication for the NPP. He wasn't the only one who reacted. There was this from the majority leader in Parliament.
The president, if he wanted a woman, and when they were mentioning some women, I honestly thought that we have some women of some demonstrable competence who have risen through this house to establish themselves firmly in the firmament. One such person could be Hannah Tete. She has been a member of Parliament. She was a minister, a foreign affairs minister, and some other area. So he has learned the rules. A former member of Parliament, I thought she could also have complemented the president's ticket. Or another person, the former Attorney General, Marita Opong, I mean, a solid person. I thought she was also coming up strongly. If you wanted women, even the previous one, the first Attorney General, she had some skeletons. Betty Modidusu, she had some skeletons relating to Woyomi. Other than that, she's also some. But you ask yourself, what value is this woman going to add to that ticket?
Oseche Mensabunsu there. So the NDC obviously felt a certain way about these reactions from the NPP. And this is their communications officer, Sami Jemfi.
I will deal with some other backward and misogynistic comments that have been made by key functionaries of the New Patriotic Party against the choice of Professor Joy997FM as running mate. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, apart from the sexist and baseless comments of Yabwabenya Samoa, the similarly disgraceful comments by the majority leader in Parliament that Professor Joy997FM is not capable of being described as President of the Republic of Ghana is one of the most backward and misogynistic statements by a high personality who should know better. Comments such as these are reminiscent of other similarly shameful statements made by President Akufo-Addo when he suggested that Ghanaian women are not dynamic enough at a conference in Canada sometime last year. The worst part of this environment was that he made a comment at an International Women's Event of all places, where he was scolded and schooled almost immediately by a fellow panelist on stage. Such sexist comments have unfortunately but predictably come to define President Akufo-Addo and his party, the New Patriotic Party. What is even more unfortunate is the reckless abandon with which the Aboabian Samoa and Osei Mensah attacked Professor Nana Jane Akufo-Addo without any factual basis. It is quite jarring and so discouraging to people, especially women, to see how such a high-flying woman is attacked with such venom by politicians who could have been a student, and indeed, somewhere a student. It is very sad, ladies and gentlemen, to see a political party in the 21st century deeply rooted in 16th century primitive views about women. But to any woman listening and watching to us this morning, like Salamat for Peace FM, do not lose courage. Look at the accomplished role model, Professor Nana Jane Akufo-Addo, and be encouraged and inspired to pursue your dreams. You can grow up to become anything you want to be, even the Vice President and the President of the Republic of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we again heard other female voices from the MPP talking about their outrage in Ireland. We will resist the temptation to dignify those reckless comments with any response, and I know you know who we are referring to. The character, the integrity, the competence, the proven track record, and the excellent leadership skills of the venerable Professor Nana Jane Akufo-Addo is unassailable, and no amount of lies can impeach a hard-won reputation or stop her from becoming the first female vice president of this country.
That was Sami Jemfi. Okay, let's get to it. And I want to start with you, Sami Oku. Two things said, one by Yaboabian Samoa and the other by the majority leader. Both of them focusing on the fact that she's a woman. I'm not saying that they are both misogynist comments or sexist comments, but they are both comments focusing on the fact that she's a woman. Is that the only thing that the NPP can comment on regarding this person?
First of all, let me, on behalf of the NPP, we welcome Professor Nana Jane Akufo-Addo into the political space and the policy space. The NPP is not too much concerned about the gender. The NDC had sought to create the impression that once a woman has been chosen to partner the former president, it will add on to their vote tally. For the avoidance of doubt, let me also take you down memory lane. In 1992, you had Kwabena Darko going for a female running mate, Professor Na Afale Sakifio.
Yeah, also then, from UCC.
Then in the year 2000, Dan Lati of GCPP selected Petra Amegashi. In 2008, Emmanuel Ansenchu of the DFP selected Patricia Ameku. In 2012, Dr. Abu Sakar selected Cherita Sapon as a running mate. The late Madame Eva Loko was selected as running mate to Dr. Pakwesi Ndum on the PPP ticket. Helen Matevi was selected as running mate to Dr. Hassan Ayariga. And then Bridget was another running mate to Dr. Pakwesi Ndum in 2016. Right. In fact, the first female to become a running mate in our political history was Lieutenant Colonel Christine Deborah, also known as Nana Kwabia Deborah Apreku I, who was a queen mother of the Ekuapem traditional area. That was in 1979. Right. So any attempt to play the card that This is the first time we have a woman on the ticket. I think it falls flat. I'm sure the reason why people are still not too sure about what she brings to the ticket is her level of involvement in the affirmative action and the activism of the previous years. Prof is an accomplished professor in her own right. She's done well for herself in the area of education and becoming vice chancellor of UCC and all that, and then subsequently becoming my good friend and brother Samuel's boss at the Education Ministry. The NPP won't focus much on the gender, but the NPP will focus on issues and her track record when she was in office. People will disagree and people will agree based on the facts that will be put on the table.
Right.
So we are, my initial comment on this matter, we are not, we are a bit indifferent about running mate status and candidature. Why? Because the running mate will be on the ballot. Is the presidential candidate who will be on the ballot. And then if you're a running mate, you perform a supporting duty to the big boss. But what has been the practice in the past, even under the NDC administration? John Mahama was running mate and vice president to Professor Mills. Pakwesi Misasa was running mate and vice president to John Mahama, former president. And now you're going to have Professor Opoku-Agyeman being running mate. I think in our Fourth Republican history, and it's been said that Dr. Bawumia might go down as one of the most active, visible, and competent vice presidents that we've had, leading and championing many reforms, be it economic related or digital. So Prof will come face to face with Dr. Bawumia, who leads the government's economic charge and the economic management team. And so we need to compare the records as well. When Prof was Minister for Education, in fact, when the NDC left office in 2016, the total number of SHS1 students that we had was 308,799. For the MPP's introduction of the free senior high, in 2017 we had 361,771. In 2008, the NPP increased the enrollment again to 433,000 plus. And then again, it's been consistent in these areas. Again, if you also want to talk more about what Prof brings to the table, I'm not too sure how to approach it there again. And I say this because I listened to Chairman Adekoka, who is a member of the NEC of the NDC. And he said that, the running mate won't be the focus, and the running mate doesn't add much.
You said the same, actually.
No. I'm saying,
you said that the running mate is not on the ballot.
No,
what matters is the
for us. But that is a fact, that the running mate won't be on the ballot. But the running mate, for us in the MPP, when we are choosing a running mate, we don't choose a running mate with the intention to complete the ticket. We choose a running mate who can be a substantial addition in terms of vote and also in terms of what the person brings to the table to complement the effort of the presidential candidate.
Right.
Dr. Bawumia has been fantastic in leading this economic reform program that we've had as a government. Especially now, today I was just reading something by Dr. Ashley, a renowned economist, who says that the CD has performed better in the first 6 months of 2020 and the best since 2012 or so, if you look at the figures that he did put out. And I'm going to, since 2014, right? Yeah. Since 2014. And you have a vice president who has also been leading these economic reforms and also this digitization of our economy and also ensuring that there's macro and microeconomic stability. When the NDC left power in 2016, you had the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana around 25.5%, which was the second highest in Africa apart from Namibia. Today, you have the same policy rate from the central bank, hovering around 14.5%. Again, when the NDC left office in 2016, before Dr. Bawumia and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came to the scene, you had the lending rate, that is from the commercial banks, around 33%. Today it's down to 20% or less. In fact, some banks are even playing around 17, 16, 18%. If you also look at the exchange rate, depreciation, and all that, on the average, when the NDC was leaving office and in 2016, it was normally around 18%. Today, it is around 7 to 8% on the average. If you look at 2018, the manufacturing sector, it grew by 9%, which is the highest in recent times. So everything will be on the ballot for us to discuss, and will be a comparison as to what the MPP we've done and what the NDC also did. But let me take you a bit to the education sector, where Samuel was deputy minister to the new running mate of the NDC. The NPP, as we speak, government is constructing a total of 962 school structures to ensure that problems facing these second cycle institutions are properly tackled. The NDC completed 27 out of the 200 e-blocks that they had promised to complete.
Are you completing them?
We are on. In fact, as we speak, 21 have been added on and completed. Again, if you also check the NDC's promises, in 2012, their manifesto.
Wait, you've completed how many? 21?
21.
NDC did 22.
27.
27.
Throughout their 8-year period.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true.
But when did you start the e-blocks? When were the e-blocks started?
Well,
we handed over 50.
You didn't hand over
124.
No, I challenge these figures. These are records from the education.
These are things we can verify, so let's not spend time debating them. Yeah, we will verify and bring.
President Mahama Commission 46.
I can speak on authority that
President Mahama Commission 47. You cannot speak on authority.
Forgive my intrusion on this specific matter of how many e-blocks. Our team will independently verify and put that out for the benefit of our audience. So let's not spend time on it. We will verify independently. What I do want to know is this. When did the e-block project begin?
In 2015.
Okay. So you were in office until 2016. So in 1 year...
He completed 46. That is not true.
Okay,
that is factually inaccurate.
All right. You suggest that they completed 27 in 1 year.
In 1 year.
In 4 years, NPP has done 20.
We've completed 21. It was
21.
Something they started.
All right.
We've added them.
Okay.
And then also, NDC made some significant promises in the education sector in 2012. One was to assume responsibility for payment of water and electricity bills for all secondary schools, which never materialized. Again, the NDC said they were going to reduce the number of untrained teachers by 50% through the Untrained Teachers Diploma Program. They never did. They also said they were going to establish at least 10 new colleges of education. They never did. They also said they were going to set up job and enterprise centers under the office of the president to link up with industry to provide opportunities for internship and intensive internship. They never did. The NDC also said in 2012, based on their manifesto for the education sector, that they will convert Gratis Foundation into a college of vocational technology. They never did. The NDC said they were going to upgrade all polytechnics into degree awarding institutions. They also said they were going to increase the subsidies currently paid to existing secondary schools. And they also said they were going to introduce compulsory basic training in welding, electronics, and plant engineering. They never did. They also said they were going to ensure that basic education is free. They also said they were going to introduce a 1-year specialized skills kindergarten/daycare training program in the various colleges of education. They never did. They also said they were going to construct 200 new community-day senior high schools, and they never did, especially in districts with none. They also said they were going to provide capitation grant to all students in the community day schools. So the very areas, and then one interesting area, they said to locate vocational and technical institutions in the Zongos underserved urban communities, which that one also materialized. Basically, this election is going to be a comparison of what we did and what they did, or what we have done and what they did. But let me even go to the area of recruitment. When Prof was education minister as compared to ours, the NPP in 2017 alone, we did a limited recruitment of teachers 19,640, newly trained 14,170. Then in 2018, with the double track teaching staff, we added 8,872. And then also double track non-teaching, we added 1,445, newly trained 14,500. Then GES and YEA partnership for non-teaching staff, 7,730. So in all, about 66,357. So it won't be like taking ice cream in the park for Prof. I believe that we are going to scrutinize the record of the Mahama administration.
Right.
We will not concentrate too much on the running mate because she will not be on the ballot. Again, the other arguments too for us, feminism is not an antagonistic crusade, as said by the late J.H. Mensah. People should not push the idea that, because it's a woman on the ticket, we cannot scrutinize or critique her record in office. Nobody should attack the personal profile and accomplishment of the professor. She's done well for herself as a distinguished academic and a former vice chancellor. But for the MDC's record in office when it comes to education, it will play on the paper. So we are also going to come up with counter arguments why we believe that the Wilson ticket of Nanado and Baumia can also serve the Ghanaian people more for 4 more terms to do more for us.
Don't you wish that the two leaders we heard from, Yabuabenya Samoa and the majority leader, had said what you said rather than what they said about, which all seems to focus on the fact that she's a woman?
Well, because the NDC started pushing the argument that it's a woman. Look, if you're also talking about women activists in Ghana, let's be very fair. As I said, and I keep saying, Prof, in her personal life as an academic, has done well for herself. But in terms of the women movement and gender activism, I don't think she will be one of the people you will list among the top 10. I will always take Nana Kunido Rawlings as one of the pioneers. The likes of the late Teresa Tego, Christine Checha, Gifty Auntie, Gifty Afini Dazi, Esla Owusu. We've had quite a number of women who have been at the forefront of championing the girl child movement and the movement to also get many women in positions. So let's not confuse the two. That the fact that you go for Prof and she's a woman, she automatically becomes one of the pioneers of the affirmative action. That point should be made clear.
Okay, well, we're going to open the phone lines shortly, but I want to give Mr. Kujata Blakwa the opportunity to answer this question, and then we'll get to the phone lines. And we've heard the two comments from the majority leader and from Yabuabenya Samoa, and the response from Sami Jemfi, this suggestion that they are being sexist. Do you think it's fair, now that you've heard the full clips of what they said? I mean, they are asking questions about whether she is a feminist to the standard of others, but is that a sexist question to ask?
I would respond to that, and I want an assurance that I will be given the same amount of time that Samia Uku has had. Going on and on, really in circles.
We have to bring our audience in, so I will give you 5 full minutes to expound.
I have 4.5, so it's fair.
So 5 full minutes I will give you so that you can make your point.
4.5 minutes. You didn't. Look, Kojo, let's be very, very sincere in our heart of hearts that Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman is by far one of the most qualified Ghanaians ever to be nominated in the entire history of this country. Very few of all the male presidents we have had compare with her laurels, with her achievements. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, I disagree with Samia Uku. She hasn't done well for herself. She has done well for our country.
If you don't mind, I'd like you to just move to the other microphone to avoid a bit of feedback we're having. Thank you very much. Yeah, so sorry for the interruption there. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Is that fine now?
Yes, it's much better now. Thank you.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman is a towering, iconic role model for many, many of us in the public space. A public servant par excellence, unblemished, decent, respectful. Very few academics make it to become fellows of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. The current chancellor of the Women's University in Africa, the chairperson of FAWE, the Federation of African Women Educationalists, headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya. The sterling credentials, the impeccable and unimpeachable track record of Professor Nana Jenopuku-Agyeman. How do you define activism? Somebody who has dedicated all her life to teaching, molding the next generation. Samia Uku sits here, he's been given a script to come and read and tells us that what? That Gifty Auntie and others. Yeah, we respect all of them. But never read what you are told to read, Samia Uku, again, without applying your own, because you are better than this.
I think
look, somebody who rises, somebody who rises
on without somebody, and then
please,
respectfully, I think I
somebody who rises, who rises from lecturer to hall warden of Adishi Hall. Who were those in Adishi Hall? Who were the young ladies she was mentoring at Adishi Hall? Or they become hermaphrodites or ghosts, and becomes dean, becomes vice chancellor. How many of the people you are mentioning have impacted lives, real impact, served as role model, molded people, mentored them? How do you, when did this warped, narrow definition of supporting the women's cause, where did that come from? Where did that come from? In any case, as minister responsible for education, look at her policies and how it promoted the girl-child education. When she launched the sanitary pad initiative, what did they tell her in this country? The same people who today say that they don't know her commitment. Other countries took the initiative after you poo-pooed it, ridiculed her in parliament. You had female MPs on the other side calling her names, saying that, oh, is that all she can do? Meanwhile, she adduced evidence, showed research about how in that time of the month it affects school attendance for young girls, adolescent girls. Kenya has adopted it today. Canada has adopted it. The United Kingdom is implementing it. It's nowhere on our education frontiers. When she implemented the secondary education improvement project and secured 10,400 scholarships for students at the second cycle level, she ensured that 60% were allocated to female. So she is such a towering figure. The women themselves know who they have looked up to, who has been there for them, who has supported their cause. It is not about what some political opponents write. Could you let me be frank with you that the statements that have come from Parliament, and yesterday I put out a tweet that I am embarrassed that I belong to the House of Parliament, led by the majority leader Osei Mensah Bonsu. Very embarrassed. Very embarrassed. And listen to him. He contradicts his own arguments, his own logic. He's all over the place. You say that she doesn't have parliamentary experience. Since when did parliamentary experience become the yardstick? Where in our constitution does it say that you should have parliamentary experience before you become president?
Dr. Bawumia doesn't have parliamentary experience.
Dr. Bawumia has no parliamentary experience. Emisata had no parliamentary experience. Professor Mills had no parliamentary experience. Right when he was vice president till he became president. I mean, why are we doing this? Because she's a woman. And in his own argument, mentions that Marietta, my good friend Marietta Briapia Opong, will have been better. Does Marietta Briapia Opong have any parliamentary experience? She does not. So even in his own, the premise he establishes, the examples he cites. He defeats his argument. So people are just being sexist, plain misogynist, plain chauvinistic. That is what it is. Listen to Yabuabi Asamoah saying that President Mahama does not take Ghanaians serious by this appointment. Jesus Christ. How can you say that? If it was a Professor Nana, not Nana, Professor Nana Opoku Hajima, will we be saying these things? Some of the people,
if she was a man, that's what you're saying.
Yes,
okay.
if she was a man.
There are women called Nana as well.
And I am not surprised that the gender movement has been so outraged at the New Patriotic Party. Listen to what their General Secretary also said yesterday, that if Professor Nana Opoku Hajima goes out on a walk, nobody knows her. It's just some Kayaye who will wave at her. I mean, what? In this, and I am glad that what Professor Nana Opoku Hajima presents to a political discourse is depth, gravitas. And I love her for one thing. She will not respond to these things. She doesn't engage in this low-lying discourse. You will not hear her take on Oseche Mensah Bonsu, Boabia Samoa, Jambuedu. That kind of low-lying, sexist, chauvinistic argument without depth, without substance. You won't hear her. All heat and no light. She will not dabble in such things. That is not what the people of this country are looking for. The good people of this country are looking for a leader who shows vision, a leader who has track record, a leader who is with the empathy and cares for people. Look at her track record as Vice Chancellor. Established the medical school. The kind of work she did with the law school that was established at UCC, the infrastructure expansion that took place. As Minister of Education, reduced teacher absenteeism from 27% as she met it down to 7%. Recruited more than 40,000 teachers. Check the MS data. 18.2% increase in the total teacher workforce during the 4 years that she was minister. Her BEC performance is the best in the history of this country. Her WASI performance, best in the history of this country. For 4 consecutive years, Ghana was adjudged the best performing WASI nation. 4 consecutive years. So those are the matters that ought to be discussed. And she is of international repute. Look, before even her appointments into politics, Minister of Education, all of that, she had been given one of the highest awards in this country, the Order of the Voter, for academic distinction. This is a woman who's distinguished herself. And often, many analysts have said that, look, it's not been easy getting people of her make to accept such political appointments and to present themselves and to come to the fore and engage in politics. So when people like them accept and join the political fray, we should accord them some respect. This business about the Muntie trade, I mean, it's one of the most ridiculous of the attacks. Look, when, as a mother who is always forgiving, and our mothers, we know who they are, she condemns a statement that was made, but says that, look, the punishment is harsh. We are appealing for pardon. We are not saying we endorse the statement. How do you then extrapolate that? By what stretch of imagination to say that she supports the raping and assault of judges? In any case, Kojo, the people who are saying that, they have absolutely no qualms that under their watch, they are Delta Force members, storm a court, an open court, with a pregnant judge sitting, traumatize her, freed their members. Up to date, what has happened to them? And what do they say about that? These people issue threats. In any case, my brother Samioku, you are here. When you came into some trouble with the Supreme Court, We were all of us joined the chorus. Oh, you judges, please have mercy, have mercy. You and Sir John, the late Sir John, may he so rest in peace. I mean, what is wrong for asking for clemency, asking for pardon that show mercy? What's wrong with that? And does that in any those of us, those are people like me who put out tweets and said that, oh, my brother Samia Oku, judges have mercy, means I support what you said. It means that what you did, I endorse it. Please,
okay. All right. At this point, I'm afraid we'll have to cut in, take a break. We're going to come back and open the phone lines, and we'll hear more from our two guests.
Seconds, please.
Killing
30 seconds.
All right.
After all these centuries, in 1610, a woman called Dode Akabi became the Ga Manche, ruled Greater Accra, the Ga people, for 25 good years. She excelled. Samtwa, 1900. Today in history, June 9, Venus Williams became only the second African Wimbledon champion. Women in their own right can achieve and have achieved and have led, have even commanded troops.
Okay. I don't think that when we come back, when we open the phone lines, we'll also hear from our two guests. But right now, important messages from our partners.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302-218-500 or 246-142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
DSTVS and the leaks are getting back. The big boys are back.
Is your heart racing yet? I know mine is.
Yeah, crowd near the live sports papa Ebrel. Gigi Dow Couch Muna Bojo favorite stars here. Well, what we are sporting leaks are getting papa Pano Naso.
Sergio Aguero has conspired in the final. Cristiano Ronaldo! Something special for his hat-trick goal. Messi does it! A priceless goal from Lionel Messi! Trauma from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
Central DSTV Lutum, Nibu Statia will support your money now of Biaba Coupe. DSTV, Live Sports Biaba Coupe.
2020, yes, to a man now.
It is time, yes. It's time again for each and every Ghanaian above 18 years to register to be able to vote. Let's all come out in our numbers in accordance with the protocols established in this COVID-19 era by the Electoral Commission to register and continue to vote for leaders who will positively reshape our country's destiny. Remember, it's 4 more for Nana. It begins with your registration today. You cannot vote unless you are eligible, and the only way is to get registered.
The ban may have been lifted, but we're still staying safe with Samsung. And yes, home is where we feel safest. If your home is empowered by Samsung, no worries. This is your chance to get your Samsung appliances in the Stay Safe with Samsung promotion. Shop safely for the best appliances at amazing discounts and win gifts too. Samsung 40-inch satellite TV for 1,499 Ghana cedis. 55-inch smart UHD TV at 3,999 Ghana cedis. QLED 55-inch TV at 7,999 Ghana cedis with Netflix already pre-installed. A fridge to last you many amazing years of use for just 2,499 Ghana cedis. And a washing machine starting at 899 Ghana cedis with gifts like standing fans and shaving machines for that after quarantine clean look. Visit any Samsung authorized dealer, observe all the safety protocols at the shop, and get your Samsung electronics safely. Samsung, Imagine what we can build. Me, I love big things. I never settle for small things. That's why I choose Go TV. With Go TV, I am always assured of the bigger and better things, especially when it comes to football. I mean, you know that. For the best football leagues are back. Super Sports on Go TV is bringing live football back. Eagle Jump Rob. Spread the word. The big boys are back in town. Watch all La Liga and Serie A games. Cristiano Ronaldo! In crystal clear digital pictures and vibrant sound on Go TV. Don't slack, crack. Stay connected via any pay-body point or mobile agent near you. Go TV. Live it, love it. Do you want to upgrade your home with the best appliances you could ever get on the market? Do you want to win gifts like hand blenders, coffee makers, rechargeable shaving machines, and so much more? Then don't miss out on the Electroland Stay Safe promotion. Get your NASCO TVs at great discounts and other appliances like that one-burner stove which is going for as low as 39 Ghana cedis. Then there's the media appliances like the standing freezer, also greatly discounted. And guess what? Your trusted Japanese brand Toshiba is back in town with the best deals like the inverter fridge and washing machines. So pass by any of our shops nationwide. Please observe all safety protocols that sanitize your hand and wear your face mask, then shop and get your gifts. Electroland Ghana Limited, home of electronics and appliances.
Syndicated Capital introduces the Silent Night range of luxury mattresses and pillows. And for the first time, the Silent Night pregnancy and nursing pillows crafted to provide exceptional relief for your legs, belly, and back during pregnancy, as well as amazing back support feeding your baby. No more sleepless nights and no more hustle with breastfeeding. Check out the Super Pillow Top Orthopedic Mattress, made with 12 inches of memory foam cushioning, providing unparalleled comfort and guaranteed to last for 20 years. No mattress comes close in comfort and support. Also available are high-quality bed sheets, reversible quilts, a large collection of orthopedic pillows and luxurious towels at unbelievable prices. Silent Night products are available at all Melcom shops, game stores, and Silent Night showrooms at Tema, Asylum Down, Adenta, Spintex Road, and Kumasi behind Menchia Palace, or call 0302-242532 or 050-131-5776. Silent Night. Sleep like never before.
Accidents do happen. It could be a motor accident, a sudden heart attack, or even a stroke, or any other health emergency. The first steps you take are very critical. Should you be involved in or witness an accident, call 112 for the fastest ambulance response. With over 300 well-equipped ambulances all over Ghana, you are assured of the fastest response to your emergency calls. Call 112 during critical health emergencies and save your life and that of your family and loved ones. 112, help will come. 112, we are safe. Avoid prank calls as they can lead to loss of life of persons in actual need of help. Be a responsible citizen.
He's up bright and early, serving your premium morning radio show. The Morning Man. It's the Morning Man.
You're welcome back. It's 9:48 on the Super Morning Show, and I want to hear from you. We all want to hear your voice on the Super Morning Show, so call us 0302-216-541, 0244-340437. Talk to us. We've been talking about a lot of things this morning. We'd love to hear your take on all of them. In the meantime, though, your home and, of course, your household possessions mean the world to you. You want to live free without worrying about what could go wrong, and that is why Hollard Insurance brings you Hollard Chat Insure via WhatsApp 24/7 with your virtual insurer, Araba Hollard. Now, as a homeowner or renter, you can sign up for Hollard's home or home contents insurance right on WhatsApp chat with Araba. Save Araba's number is 0242-426-412. Put it in your phone, say hi to her, and you can get security against burglary, fire, and allied perils. Hollard has got you covered. Send a WhatsApp to Araba Hollard on 0242-426-412. So COVID-19 has changed the world, But in spite of the challenges, there are still people getting things done. The spirit of Africanacity is still alive in Ghana, and healthcare workers are on the front line, essential services are being provided, and you are still getting things done across Ghana, still working, teaching, doing it all. So thank you to all of you still getting things done. Your Africanacity inspires us. Visit ABSA at absa.com.gh. All right, let's take a couple of calls. Jerome Jr. is in Koforidia. Jerome, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kojo. How are you doing?
I'm very well. It's good to hear from you, my brother.
Yeah, Kojo.
Yes, sir.
You see that if we look at Ghana's population, the women constitute a greater percentage of our population. And women have contributed to Ghana's development since the start of this false Republican democracy. So it is about time we give women the opportunity to contribute their quota. You see, was Nana Opokwajamai was my lecturer. He lectured me at UCC, and her contributions at the faculty, I'm telling you, is impeccable. So nobody can wash away her contribution to academia. She's done so well for herself. A woman rising to become the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. My brother.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's talk to Isaac in Downsaman. Hello, Isaac. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
I'm very well. Thank you for calling.
Yes, can I speak about education?
Of course, yes, please.
About the secondary schools.
Sure.
It's pretty disheartening today that Sami Oku would say that they are using data and science to make decisions. I suppose that it was the same data and science that made a decision that informed the president's decision to go into isolation, even though just about a couple of people within his inner circle tested positive. So if the president, who has all the resources of state behind him, when people within his inner circle tested positive, he withdrew and went to hide. But other person's children, they are in school, in dormitories, in classrooms with other people. It is confirmed that at least 6 students in Accra have tested positive. Sami Oku is justifying that the student should be kept in school. Would he have taken that decision if his child was in Accra Girls?
We'll get you an answer to that question. Nee is in Asylum Down. Good morning, Nee.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling, my brother.
You're welcome. Okay, all right. I want to say...
Hello? Oh, dear. Are you there, Nee?
Hello?
Yes, is that Nee?
No, this is Evans.
Evans, sorry, it seems we've lost Nee. Please call us back, Nee, if you can. Evans, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the discussion this morning. I mean, for me, from the beginning, I was just smiling. You guys are mentioning that Donald Trump, is taking decisions that are not in the best interest of America, but Americans voted for him. And that is the same thing said in 2016. But he won anyway. In our part of the world, politics of lies. He is being truthful. What he will do, he will do. If the World Bank if the World Health Organization were to be proactive, coronavirus wouldn't have affected the world. They would have stopped it in China, but they didn't. So he has every right to cut the funding, and I support whatever he said because he is truthful. In our part of the world, when the coronavirus cases were rising, what were they doing? Ghana Health Service have to send the report to some entity. National Security have to massage the figures before it's released to you. We do politics of lies here, and that is wrong. And Uncle Ebo is saying that Ghanaians insult Sami Oku and Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. Who insults who? Are they not those who insult themselves, insult Ghanaians? When they said Mahama was incompetent, is that not an insult? When Bahubia said Mahama is arrogant, is that not an insult? And extrapolating that Ghanaians who criticize him do not read, is that not an insult? Because he's the only one who reads in Ghana. So oftentimes we, the citizens, are being criticized, and people that they call ordinary people are always being criticized.
Interesting take there. Thank you, my brother. Thanks for calling. Let's go to Labadi. Here's Henry. Good morning, Henry.
Good morning, Kojo.
Nyamina Dum now.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I personally think that the NDC should know that no one is interested in making Prof being a female any campaign issue. It's about track record, and that must be stated. She's not the first person that has been elected to that highest office. So I don't know what their issue is. I don't know what their issue is. And secondly, we must state that we'll use her track record, no matter what. Whatever those who want you to say this, and we will use her track record to campaign. She's an assistant to the president. Yes, it's true that the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, says will come on the ballot. But she's a supportive person, so we'll use her track record, including the former president, to campaign. So whatever they like, we'll do it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for sharing. Thanks to all of you who called. That was interesting. All right, we're going to get our guests to wrap up in a moment. But first, let me remind you that there are some things you just don't share, like your food, your account balance, your Momo PIN. And now MTN has made it even easier for you to keep your Momo private by performing your transactions yourself. All you have to do is dial 170, listen to the Momo menu in Chi, English, Everga, or whichever language you prefer. You can still dial star 170 hash if you prefer, but now here's the option of 170. So just Momo it your way. That's why we're good together. Just Momo it. We do for you everywhere you go. Now the GRA would like to remind all withholding tax agents, including VAT withholding agents appointed by the Commissioner General, that withholding taxes must be paid to the Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority by the 15th of every month. Withholding taxes for June 2020 will therefore be due by 15th of July 2020. Withholding taxes include withholding of VAT deducted from suppliers operating the VAT standard rate scheme, 12.5%, employment, payment for the support of use of goods, payment for the supply of any work, for the supply of use of goods, payment for the supply of any works, payment for the supply of services, and all other withheld taxes for June 2020 are due by the 15th of July 2020. Pay all withheld taxes by the due dates. All payments should be made with an accompanying schedule in both hard and soft copies indicating gross amount, the tax deducted, and names of taxpayers from whom the taxes were withheld. Please note, failure to pay tax by due date attracts an interest of 125% on the statutory rate compounded monthly on the outstanding tax. The GRA can be reached by email on info@gra.gov.gh, by WhatsApp on 055-299-0000 and 055-328-0229. Toll free on 0800 900 102. That's from the Commissioner General of the GRA. Okay, be a citizen, join EcoBank and Joy FM in the hashtag 10 Ghana Challenge by donating at least 10 Ghana cedis towards the completion of Ghana's first infectious disease center to fight COVID-19 and future pandemics. To donate, dial star 725 hash on any mobile money wallet and follow the prompts using the till number 32682570. That's 32682570. If you're an EcoBank mobile user, just donate using the Billa option under donations. Okay? You want to know more? Call 3225. Joy FM Radio for discerning listeners. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Now, Kingdom Books and Stationery now introduces the brand new temperature gun, best on the market, with precise non-contact measurements, automatic data hold and auto power off, backlight LCD display, you can set an alarm value, and so much more. For bulk purchases, call 050-140-1050 or just go to any of their branches, including their head office at Usu Akwenje. Now, Commonwealth Foundation, the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council introduces some amazing courses that you can now do from the comfort of your home, on your computer or phone, for the heavily subsidized price of 185 Ghana cedis. And these are great courses, okay? Project management, operational management, customer service, business finance, business administration, business management, communication techniques. All of them accredited in the UK, okay? 36 modules for 185 Ghana cedis each. Imagine that. For more information or to register, go to chimeghana.org or call or send a WhatsApp to 059-460-4444. Here are your COVID-19 tidbits. Avoid touching your face because you can get the virus on your hands from touching surfaces like doorknobs, laptops, and cell phones. Avoid touching your mouth, nose, and eyes, or biting your fingernails to prevent the virus from getting into your body. Don't shake hands or hug people for now, and don't share personal items. Cover your mouth and nose when you cough and sneeze. And these are brought to you by Carex in collaboration with the Ghana Medical Association. Carex kills 99% of bacteria. Say yes to life. Donate yogurt. Make more. I need more. Our Life soap can save your life. Use it. McDan Shipping Company, your total logistics partner. Petrosol, a delightful experience, and Hollard Life Assurance. We've got you covered. It's actually 10 o'clock, so I wish I could give my two guests the opportunity to speak very quickly on this.
A minute each won't be bad.
Hey, a minute, dear. We don't have.
Please,
30 seconds.
That's fine.
30 seconds each.
I find my good friend and brother's position on MPP's critique of the running mate, he finds it offensive and sexist. I'm surprised. You see, when Lydia Sierra Malasan was elected and in Parliament, the NDC walked out and shouted bloody widow. Was she not a woman? When NDC goons were unleashed on Esla Owusu Atodododiodo, is Esla not a woman as well? You see, you cannot pick and choose when you want to support this feminine crusade. For me and for the MPP, we are clear in our minds that this campaign is not going to be about Joy997FM or Dr. Baumia. It's going to be a comparative analysis of their records in government, the NPP and that of the NDC.
Mr.
The irony is that this is the same group that kept taunting President John Dramani Mahama. Where's your running mate? Where's your running mate? Where's your running mate? He names the running mate. Now they say it's not about running mate. It's not going to be about Prof and Baumia. Yes, we welcome track record. The leader who didn't have to wait for a pandemic to build the UGMC, which is a saving grace now, the Ridge Hospital. We welcome 4-year track record versus 4-year track record. And the people of this country know that John Mahama is the man of vision who must return.
I want to thank the two Samis, Sami Oku and Sami Okujeto Ablako. We appreciate you both very, very much. But we've stolen Hannah Odame's time. She's got the headlines now.
Sure, could you? The Ghana Health Service says that Ghana's COVID-19 cases are now 26